Today on Catalyst, I'm honored to have the most prestigious personality in the Middle East and Africa tech space, Sayantan Dev, President, MEA, Redington. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us the opportunity to have this discussion with you.
Thanks, Ranjana, for having me here.
It's a pleasure. You have been in the region for over 20 years and literally witnessing the evolution of the region. So what's your take on the growth of the Middle East and Africa market?
So, first of all, I have been in the IT industry and following the region for more than 20 years. But interestingly, I've just completed 16 years in Dubai.
Oh,
so
great.
Today happens to be that day. So,
congratulations.
Interestingly, we are having this conversation. And yes, like you said, we have seen the region evolving, and particularly in the industry that we are in. Which is tech, and pretty much taking a very pioneering position now, globally. And I can give you, this region is pretty diverse and very fragmented market. The dynamics in different parts of Middle East and Africa are very different. But there is one common trend that we see in the region, which is about a very clear directive and vision from most of these markets to take a leadership position in tech and AI and everything else that is happening in advanced technologies.
Yeah.
Particularly, if you look at KSA and UAE has taken giant strides in that direction already. We know that, and possibly we'll talk a little more about that as we progress in the conversation. But if you look at the rest of the markets also, for example, the rest of Middle East, like the markets like Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, and the Levant markets like Jordan, they are all very well equipped, and they have clearly a mandate to diversify their economies, outside of oil and gas, which has been the primary driver of these markets for many years. But clearly that drive is coming towards building a strong ecosystem around technologies. So we see that trend in that part of the market. Then you go to the some of these North African markets like Egypt, Morocco, etc. You see a tremendous pool of talents and resources, which is a key determinant of success of these countries in tech leadership, right? So that's one kind of activity going on there. They are building a huge talent pool, which will be a key determinant of the success, not just those markets, but by the overall region as a whole. Then go to Africa. Now, Africa has been deprived in certain parts of Africa for many years. They have been late to, join the journey. But in a way, sometimes it becomes a blessing in disguise, because they never had a legacy, certain markets, but they are leapfrogging into the new digital era.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's a very interesting development in certain parts of Africa. You will be surprised to know the kind of action going on in places like, for example, Kenya, where there is a thriving startup ecosystem in the digital native world, particularly in areas like fintech. They're doing extremely well, very well funded also today. So they have appeared in the global map as innovators in the fintech space, and so what have you. Particularly, their M-Pesa story from Kenya is very well known. And around that, a lot of other innovative ideas are getting nurtured, and they have pretty much made themselves very visible on the global technology map. So, and then on the other hand, you have the likes of Nigeria, which is always a very tricky, but can be a very interesting markets when it comes to technologies. And then you have South Africa, on the other hand, very matured in terms of adoption of cloud and digital technologies, and what have you, and it is pretty much emerging as the central hub for what we call the SADC countries, the countries which are around South Africa. South Africa's own consumption of technology also, and the appetite for consumption is very high, with a very strong and matured adoption in the digital space. But at the same time, they're also emerging as a central hub and leader for the SADC countries.
For sure. I think that's the reason why even GITEX moved to Morocco. We have a Morocco edition, like GITEX Morocco edition.
Absolutely, and it has been extremely successful.
It was very good, and I think, and with that, a lot of companies are also expanding their businesses in Morocco, specifically like South of Africa, and as you mentioned, how it's evolving. It's been like a central hub for the tech and everything.
Absolutely.
So that's the reason, and that's great to know. So also, like, coming back to the UAE market, we have been seeing that the government has been focusing on the growth of AI and fundraising the artificial intelligence technology, moving towards increasing its adoption. So what is your take on that? Like, how do you see that evolving?
So look, UAE has been the leadership in UAE has been absolutely visionaries in this journey, and followed by that, coupled with that, you have this tremendous bias for action in this country. So you can always have a vision, but you also match it up with the right set of actions to realize the ambitions, right? So that has come together in UAE, and there are some preconditions and key determinants to success in the digital age, as a country, as a region. And I will give you, I don't want to bore you with boring statistics, but I'll give you some indicators which will show you that how strongly they have established the foundations for them to have a very good takeoff, and we are already seeing the fruits of that. So number one is, if you look at the internet penetration in UAE, it is upwards of 99%. There are 10.24 million internet users in the country, which is clearly one of the best in the world. The second thing is, look at the cloud adoption in the market. The MEA, Middle East and Africa market, the cloud adoption is at 21% plus. In UAE specifically, which is already at a very matured stage, it started its journey earlier, but they are still at about 17.5 to 18%, give and take.
Yeah.
At a very matured, scaled up base as well. And you will see all the hyperscalers also having their data centers with all their services in this market. And this is a very important indicator of what level of digital transformation is happening in the market, because cloud played a very important role in democratizing technologies, making it available to the wider mass, and giving them access to world-class cutting-edge technologies across the different strata of the economy. So that has a clear impact on how digital transformation has been fast-tracked in this country. Then you look at the startup ecosystem in UAE. There are 1,200 plus thriving startup, well-funded and doing extremely well for a small country like UAE. Yeah. Very well-funded. Every year, the quantum of funding that is going into these digital native startups, and mostly in the space of AI and security and what have you, is only going up. So you can clearly see that how the market has been adopting, and the investors have been rewarding because they see potential in this market enormously.
Yeah.
The fourth part is about the adoption of high tech. So UAE has an ambition of becoming a leader in AI, like you said, and it clearly has an objective of where AI will be a contributor to 14% of the overall GDP in the market by 2030. It's not a joke. I mean, which will make it the second largest contributor in the GDP after oil and gas. And if you look at it, which means that today we are at a 10 billion plus USD revenue in AI economy. They are going to add another $98 billion to that to make it a $110 billion AI industry by 2030.
That's amazing.
Now, what is going on currently in the market? There are 40% of the plus companies who already have a very detailed AI adoption in place. 65% plus IT professionals in the last 24 months have accelerated their AI adoption into business. There is 34% plus of companies who have a very comprehensive, detailed roadmap on what they want to do in AI. There is around 30% plus companies who are right now developing it and should come out with their strategy, possibly by the end of this year.
And this is specifically in UAE? And
this is all in UAE. All that I'm telling is now in UAE. Then you come to the communication space. I talked about internet penetration.
Yeah.
In the telecommunication space, the connectivity issue, because you need everything, right? You need high computing resources available through cloud, and you need a great access to that technology through connectivity. So the fiber to home connectivity and penetration in UAE is upwards of 99%, 99.3% specifically. Unheard of in any similar economy. So adding all this, you will see that there is already a very strong foundation in place for UAE to be the leader in AI and other innovative technologies globally. And think about this, when we talk about how fast the country is transforming digitally, UAE, in the digital transformation assessments, there are various parameters in which countries are measured.
Okay.
In 23 out of those parameters, UAE has taken the first position in governance, in healthcare, and in telecommunications.
I think they're leading everywhere.
Yeah. So there is the foundations are in place. The intent of the government is in place, which is that UAE government has set up a DCAI, the Dubai Center of Artificial Intelligence. They were one of the first. In fact, they were the first to have a ministry dedicated to artificial intelligence. The Ministry of AI was the first of its kind in UAE, and that also many years back. There are things like the city concierge, the Dubai.ai platform. There are the AI labs and tons of things going on from the government side to help these initiatives, and that is also underpinned by the oil economy also, touch wood, doing very well, and that's only helping all that initiatives. So I think all the moving parts are in the right place for UAE to actually go through this journey well and take a leadership position in AI by 2030.
Knowing all these pointers, I think Dubai is progressing towards becoming the AI capital of the world. So that's something which we will all witness in couple of years. As you mentioned, by 2030, AI will take over, specifically in
and also, I don't know whether taking over is the right phrase, because you have to be very careful about what you are saying and all that. But more than that, I think AI will be a key driver of helping the different parts of not just the economy, but the welfare state as such, because it has tremendous benefits if used well. We spoke about healthcare and how we can democratize use of technologies which were at one point available to only a few and far privileged few, to make it available to every part of the society. So good to know that we are in a country which is making everything that is required to take a very leadership position
next level
in that.
So in this world, being in UAE and having presence in KSA or Middle East and Africa, what are the key transformative propositions that Redington is taking to the market today?
Great. See, Redington's endeavor always have been to be we are obviously part of a middle tier industry. And what is the big purpose of Redington as a group is to help adopt technology faster, better, sooner. So we are always driven by the fact that on one side there is a lot of innovations happening much faster than they could be adopted. Particularly in the part of the world that Redington is mostly present. We are present in different parts of Middle East and Africa, and pretty much well spread in the last frontiers. We take pride, and it has always been our objective to play a very important role in helping the customers adopt to technologies better, making it easier for them to integrate technology in their systems, make the most of the investment they do in technologies, and last but not the least, making sure that they are making the most of the platform and the usage and everything, every other innovative technologies that is available today for use. So on the one hand, we are seeing that the customers can maximize the benefit that these innovations can bring to their life and business. On the other hand, we are creating capacity for all the innovation partners that work with us to making sure that their innovations are used well and taken in the right way and easily to the customers for whom they are meant for.
Great, that's great to know. I think with this, undoubtedly, like Redington is setting the bar really high for the market, like specifically in this space. So that's like a great thing to know.
Sure. And if you ask me that if you want me to be a little more specific about the different practices, investments, assets that we are building to achieve the purpose or objective that I spoke about. So I can give you a few examples of what we are doing. So to start with, one of our huge focus area is cloud computing, and we said that what cloud's contribution has been to help innovation take to the masses. So we were early adopters and we invested early in the practice. We have come a long way. So starting with the portfolio that we have, we work with all the hyperscalers, and we have today, so from AWS and Microsoft and Google and Oracle and all the major hyperscalers who are invested in the region. We have a good alliance relationships with all the hyperscalers. One. The second part is we have been investing heavily on building reusable assets, platforms like cloud management portal, which ensures that our large reseller community who are doing cloud business with us, we are trying to make their life easier so that they can self-launch themselves, manage their businesses on the platform, and we try to give them a single pane of glass, because in a world where there are going to be multiple subscription, multiple customers, multiple usage, different use cases, the software and cloud supply chain is going to be very complex. So we saw that very early in this journey, and in the process we started building assets like our CloudQuarks, which is a cloud management portal, to give our partners a single pane of glass through which they can manage their business. Secondly, we also have built assets around cloud usage optimization. It's a very complex world. There is subscription management, there is usage management, there is optimization of usage. So everything to do with the FinOps part of cloud management. We have an asset called the Track My Cloud, which helps customers manage their cloud consumption and optimize their cloud consumption. We have built a cloud center of excellence with highly competent resources and competencies around migrations and managing your workloads on the cloud, helping customers adopt and embrace the platform better, security on the cloud. So all of this on the cloud side. The second is, another area where we have doubled down over the years is the cyber security space. So coming back to your question about what Redington is doing, on the cyber security space also is another area of tremendous focus for Redington. On one hand, we are creating new partnerships. We have 30 plus innovative vendors in the security space, because that space is also very fragmented. So security has many angles. I am not going in detail of that, but we have all the right partnerships and it continues to grow for us. So on one hand, we are building a portfolio to make sure that we are taking care of every aspect of cybersecurity at the customer. And on the other hand, we are also investing in building services, a services portfolio along with the product portfolio, and trying to deliver that, a managed security services practice, and trying to deliver that through our large set of resellers who are already going into the market. So we have a MSSP practice called the DigiGlass, which offers many services starting from assessment like vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, up to GRC, and everything in between. So that's one part. The security is another part that we are investing. Then we talk so much about AI, and possibly After the OpenAI was unleashed to the market, the world has been absolutely enamored by AI, or with equal amount of apprehension as well, let's say. But just to tell you that as a middle tier industry, and many people may or may not know that we were one of the first to start a practice. It is almost 6 years back in advanced analytics and AI, IoT as a practice, where there was no instance of a two-tier model itself world over. So we did a lot of pilots with a lot of the global innovators for the first time, obviously. The likes of SAS, MicroStrategy, Tableau, and what have you, and in that area, which today is maturing. And we were very ready to then, when the entire world has woken up and there is a requirement of capacity in that area, we are very ready to help the ecosystem with the practices that we have been able to build all this while. Then on the other hand, we have built an e-commerce engine for all our portfolio. So Redington's one of the biggest strengths is our portfolio, which spans from endpoints to cloud security applications and everything in between. So we also have on one hand where CloudQuarks is used by our large set of cloud reseller partners to manage their cloud business. We have built very successfully and continue to invest heavily and develop further a digital twin of the traditional distribution model, which we call our e-commerce platform, through which partner can actually seamlessly transact. We are making it, trying to go to ideally to a place where it will be as much as possible self-serviced by the reseller partner, so we can automate a bunch of those stuffs and digitally help them transact on the platform. So that's another development. Then we have a lot of value-added services. For example, our buyback schemes with the mobile phones, which are benefiting today our largely the retailer partners, but we are going to take this to the entire market in UAE and other parts of Middle East, and then to other parts of Africa. We have a lot of fintech solutions clubbed with our mobile offerings today, limited to certain markets in Africa. Affordability solutions are key to on one hand adoption in Africa, and on the other hand to help the business unlock the full potential of the market, particularly in Africa. So we have strong alliance and practices with certain fintech vendors. We are trying to get the BNPL, the buy now pay later kind of vendors, and then other tech solutions we integrated with the devices and the endpoints, which can help grow capacity in the markets. We also have our ensure services, which so we don't end our journey with the customer once the products are delivered, but we are also helping manage the life cycle of the products. We have a practice with ensure services there, and we are only adding to that arsenal different other services, including enterprise and cloud and all what have you. And then we also have forayed into third-party logistics. We had built pretty much world-class infrastructure when it came to supply chain, and then we saw that, and we rather got requests from many of our alliance partners and the customers at large that this can also be used, that can also be used by the larger community outside, and then we decided to, and we saw a great potential in a world-class supply chain solutions in the way the world is going. So we have our company ProConnect, which carries out that business of third-party logistics, 3PL, and all of that. And then there are a bunch of other things. We are always on the periphery and constantly in the lookout of what are the trends. We try to spot the trends early, and the way we look at it is what can we do to help these innovations reach the last mile faster.
Yeah.
And hence we continue to add services to our portfolio.
I think with all the recent developments that Redington has been doing, not recent, but over the years and staying ahead of time, you have actually addressed the, the talk of the town, like how you guys, or Redington specifically, is managing over 1,000 of channel partners across 30 countries and sustaining such large volume of partnership. So you have already addressed that, and we know like how that is growing. I was just curious to know, how do you see the channel evolving in the coming years, as there has been a lot of transformation in channel business models and practices. So how do you see that evolving?
Look, there are two parts to that question. One is we already discussed at length how the market can be very, very rewarding in the next few years, particularly in the industry that we are in. There is a vibrant environment pretty much everywhere across the regions for different reasons. But at the same time, the market will also be competitive, because if I say this is a gold rush, but there are, when the gold rush happens, not everybody is a winner, right? There can be many winners, but then some people get it right. Few people will fall by the wayside. In fact, many people will fall by the wayside. So, my advice to the community at large is the way things have evolved and will continue to evolve. One thing is for sure, that we all have to be lifelong learners.
For sure.
You can't develop competencies and mature a practice and think about surviving for eternity with that. The models will change faster. We know that today there is an AI, and AI will make changes to the way we do business, and not just AI. I mean, there are different technologies and the models that have changed along with that. Will make many changes to the industry itself, the tech industry itself, and many other industries are also getting changed. So everybody has to constantly innovate and look out for what is required to be successful. Define success first, and what is required to be successful with the changing models and changing technologies and the way business is going. The other part I always keep on saying, and I always say is, one needs to choose their battles diligently and specialize in them, build competencies, specialize in that subject. It will not be long-lived, but you have to continuously go through that process of choosing a battle, putting your investments and mind space into that, making all the right investments, specializing in that, developing right competencies, and in a few years redo that again, figuring that out. But gone are the days that you can spread thin and you can be everywhere and anywhere and you can be a good jack of all trades. But now you have to choose your battles and master a few of them.
Exactly.
So these are by and large the two large messages that I have. Is one, to never be satisfied that you have figured it out. You figure things out for a while in the current world. And the second part is, you can't be a also ran in this race. You choose your battle and try to master and specialize that. That's where the ecosystem and innovators and the customers is valued.
So whatever you have shared, that's been a great learning, and that's going to be insightful for all our viewers. Now, on closing note, I would really like to know, what's next for Redington?
Nothing special. I think we covered most of it, and for us it will be remaining true to what the philosophies of Redington, what we really believe, which is helping customers adopt new technologies better, easier, faster, sooner, and more in the most meaningful way. And what I said about the overall community, our reseller community, remains true for Redington as well. We would continue to remain very vigilant of what is going on. Redington has a history of putting the cart before the horse. We experiment a lot. We have a culture within the organization where we encourage experimentation, being innovative. Any idea is a good idea, but fail fast. We will continue to spot the changes, spot the trends in the market, and accordingly center ourselves, prepare ourselves for what is coming. And that has an impact on the larger market, clearly because of how we are positioned within the ecosystem and the industry. And what we do well will also help adoption of technologies better. So we take that responsibility on ourselves, and we are grateful to the industry, to the region, for having such a great opportunity. To one, as a organization, we have prospered over the years thanks to the region, and at the same time we could play and would love to continue to play a very meaningful role in evolution of technology and its adoption in the markets that we operate in.
Thank you so much, Sayantan, for giving us the time and these enlightening thoughts. This has been amazing, the whole conversation, and we look forward to see Redington stay ahead of the curve. And congratulations once again for your completing 16 years in Dubai. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for having me.